Hi, today my group will be presenting to you about the Bahamian Kriol. My group members include Mr. Mario Bull, Miss Indira Casanova, and myself, Keela Flowers. I hope you enjoy our presentation.
Good evening, my fellow classmates. Good evening, Dr. Mukul. Once again, I'd like to welcome you to our presentation. My name is Marlin Bull. Fun facts about the Bahamas. Let's take a little travel, shall we? The official name of the Bahamas is the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Its form of government is the Constitutional Parliamentary Democracy. Its capital is Nassau, population 374,000. Its official languages are English and Creole. Its money, Bahamian dollars, and it covers approximately 13,939 square miles of the Atlantic Ocean. Furthermore, the Bahamas is an archipelago of nearly 700 coral islands. Around 30 of these islands are inhabited. It sits in the West Atlantic Ocean, some 100 kilometers southeast of Florida in the US, and approximately 80 kilometers northeast of Cuba. So, since we now know some basic facts about the Bahamas, let's look at how its geographical location and historical past influence the current language the people enjoy. The Creole spoken in the Bahamas today was imported by loyalist blacks in the wake of the American Revolutionary War, according to Hackett 2004. It may be regarded as a diaspora variety of Gola, which is an elderly form of Gola rather than the African American Vernacular English, or the AAVE. This was the variety formerly known as the Black English. For example, banana from the Mandingo tribe, yam, also Mandingo, okra, gombo, Western Bantu. So these are African tribes, African origin, that where these people were taken from and brought over to the Americas as slaves. They have a influence alongside the English, which gave rise to the Creole that is spoken there in the Bahamas. So the majority of the Bahamian today speak a mesolectal form of Bahamian Creole. And mesolectal, coming from mesolect, is any variety of language in a Creole continuum that is intermediate between the basilic and the acrolic. Basilic speakers tend to be elderly Bahamians or those who live on the more remote islands, especially in the southeastern part of the archipelago. Now let's take a look at the structural differences between the Lexifer language, which is the super straight or the dominant language, and the Bahamian Creole. So the Lexifer language, which is the English, provides the majority of the vocabulary that can be found in the Creole or the Bahamian Creole, according to Holmes 2000. English has a complex structure with specific rules and word order, verb, conjugation, tenses, aspects, mood, etc. The phonological language approach of the song system includes a variety of vowels and consonant sounds, stress patterns, and intonation, according to Hancock 1992. The Creole, on the other hand, or also known as the Bahamian dialect, is influenced by the Lexiferal language English, but has its distinct structures and features despite that, according to Holmes 2000 again. Bahamian Creole tends to simplify or modify English grammar rules. It may sometimes drop the verb endings or use simpler verb forms. Also, the subject verb object order is often retained, but It can also show variation. Let's take a look at the example. She is going to the market. That's the Lexifer language, English. The Bahamian Kriol, the substrate, goes as so. She going to the market. Here we can see the verb going has been shortened or simplified. The article the, is also changed in its spelling to de. We can see the subject appearing first in both languages. We see the verb between the subject and the object market. So it maintains the same subject verb object structure. While many words are derived from English, Bahamian Creole includes unique words, expressions, and idioms that reflect the local culture and influences from African languages and other Creole, according to Mefween 2001. Also, you can see those examples from the previous presenter, Miss Indira. The phonology in Bahamian Creole may simply may simplify English phonemes, sing fewer vowels and consonant distinction. It often features distinct stress and intonation patterns, and certain consonant cluster may be reduced or even altered, according to Hancock 1992.
Good evening, everyone. Today, our group will be presenting on the Creole language. We are going to be focusing on a Creole language that is spoken in one of the Caribbean countries. The country that we're going to be looking at is the Bahamas. The type of Creole that is spoken in the Bahamas is known as the Bahamian Kriol English. This type of Creole is a English-based Creole, and this type of Creole is influenced by, one, the English language, and primarily the West African language, and thirdly by other Caribbean Creoles. I'm going to be providing examples of how the Lexifer, the super straight language, has influenced the Bahamian English Creole. Remember, the Lexifer language is English. This is a language that has influenced the developing of the Bahamian English Creole. Example, in the standard English, we would say, "Where are you going?" In the Bahamian Creole, we say, "Where ina going?" Explanation for this is because the vocabulary words like where changes to where. The vocabulary word for going changes to going. And both of these come from the English. Where, which is where, going, going. They both come from the English language. But the pronunciation and the grammar are influenced by other languages. The substrate language that has influenced the Bahamian English Creole, remember substrate is the secondary language, is the West African language and other Creole languages in the Caribbean. So, the substrate language influences grammar, it influences the pronunciation, and it also influences some of the words in the Bahamian Creole. The African language substrate have influenced the structure, like I said, and the pronunciation. These languages are usually spoken by people who were historically in a subordinate position socially. For example, we have the enslaved or the indigenous communities. So these people brought their language to the country, and then from there, this language helped to develop, which is known as today as the Bahamian English Creole. I'll give examples. For example, in the standard English, we say, "I told him already." Bahamian Creole, we say, "I don't tell him." Explanation for this: the use of the word done as a marker of a completed action in the past tense is a grammatical feature that is influenced by West African language, where a similar structure is used to indicate past action. So we will say done. For to explain an action that you did already. We don't say I told him already. We say I don't tell him. The phonological difference between the Bahamian English Creole and the Standard English is 1. Words are shortened. 2. Final consonants are dropped. 3. The TH sound is replaced with the consonant D, the consonant T, the consonant F, or the consonant V. And 4th and 5thly, the language has a more rhythmic and music flow into the speech. When forming sentences in the Bahamian Creole English, they don't use the possessive form to show ownership the way how the Standard English uses it. For example, in a Standard English, to show ownership, we use apostrophe with the S. For example, the girl's mother. Using the apostrophe and the S after the word girl, it shows that we're talking about the mother of the girl. In the Bahamian Creole, if they want to say that the mother belongs to the girl, they will say the girl mother. So they do not use the apostrophe and the S to show ownership, to show that someone belongs to that person or something belongs to that person. The last 2 elements of language that I'm going to be pointing out are semantics, that deals with meaning, and lexicon, that deals with vocabulary. As you heard from the previous examples that was mentioned, that the Bahamian Creole borrows from other languages. For example, it borrows from the West African language, it borrows from the Caribbean Creole, and it also borrows from the British language. So the three of these languages have helped to develop, have helped to structure, and makes up what is known as the Bahamian English Creole. The final pointer that I'm going to be explaining about is the attitude of speakers towards the Bahamian Creole. The attitude that the Bahamian speakers have towards the Bahamian English Creole is an attitude of love and hate relationship. Why? I'm going to explain why. Love. Bahamians view this Creole language as their nation pride and identity. It shows them, it reflects their history, it reflects their African ancestry, and it also reflects the Caribbean roots, where they come from. Second, it's a tool of how they express emotions and humor. Why? Because this Bahamian Creole is a language that is lively and full of expression. So it provides humor when they are speaking. The way how the language is pronounced, it provides humor and it is full of expressions. This negative perception is because they view this language, this type of Creole, as a bad English, or what we call a broken English. For them, this Bahamian English Creole should be used in an informal setting. For example, just having a casual conversation with their friends or their family members. But when it comes to a more formal setting, they believe that the standardized English should be used. So many Bahamians view this Creole, or they feel pressure when speaking this Creole or using this type of Creole, because many of them, one, have either been going abroad to study. Two, many of them are traveling around different places around the world. And thirdly, tourism. Tourism has caused a major impact or a major influence that is affecting the use of the Bahamian Creole. So many of them feels like they are pressured to needing to speak more of this of the standardized English instead of using their mother language, or what is known as the Bahamian English Creole.
Bahamian word of the day, frowsy. Frowsy means stink. If somebody tell you smell frowsy, you need to go bed.
But how you do, man? You good? Yeah, man. I just enjoy the sun. But that's true, dog. You wanna look good today? You are gonna beach? I think so. You're gonna come? Of course. You are bring the conch. You are bring the conch salad. Of course, I can't go without that. You are bring the drink. Of course, I got some cold sorrel in the fridge. Yes, man. Then we'll have a blast. Yeah, man.
Thank you for listening to our group's presentation. I hope at the end of our presentation you were able to learn one thing about the Bahamian Creole.